Russian Z-War correspondent Dmitry Steshin admitted that aggression against Ukraine has reached a dead end. The Russian army is practically not moving, paralyzed by Ukrainian drones. He made a frank statement on air at the Komsomolskaya Pravda radio station. The propagandist complained that the Russian offensive is effectively paralyzed. Ukraine is effectively holding back the aggressor's advance with the help of attack UAVs. Today, even 40 kilometers from the front line is not a safe rear for the occupiers. I couldn't get to Chasov Yar. An anti-tank mine was dropped from Baba Yaga in front of our buggy. Our guys are moving, but very slowly. Everything went into the small sky. Unfortunately, we are lagging behind. We launch 6 drones. The enemy launches 60 at them. This is a figure from a specific episode of the battle, Steshin said. He specified that wounded Russian attack aircraft have to wait weeks for evacuation. A minimum of 6 people are needed for 1 stretcher. 8 is better. To send armor for him means putting armor down. All drivers of the Russian armed forces are now potential suicide bombers, he said. Also, according to Steshin, the Russian army does not have effective electronic warfare systems to counter UAVs. The attack aircraft have stopped taking our electronic warfare systems with them on assault missions. There is no point in them, said the Z-War correspondent. Recall, Russian military is planning to increase the use of small squads on motorcycles and quad bikes at the front lines in Ukraine as it plans fresh offensives. According to the Ukrainian military and analysts of the conflict, Russian forces have used motorbikes and quads in several areas of the front lines in an effort to evade Ukrainian drones for more than a year. But the Institute for the Study of War in Washington says that the Russian military is likely developing a tactical doctrine for systematic offensive motorcycle usage and may be preparing to issue an increased number of motorcycles. Ukraine expects a major Russian offensive in the next few months as Moscow tries to capture more territory before any ceasefire agreement. The Ukrainian military calls the motorbike assaults banzai attacks. One Ukrainian commander, Andriy Otchenash, said earlier this month that the motorcycles are designed for a quick blitzkrieg. They can advance very quickly, get behind the lines, he said, but losses on the Russian side were very high. It indicates that the enemy does not have a large amount of military offensive equipment, but on the other hand, it is an adaptation to the conditions of war, said the Ukrainian Center for Strategic Communication.
Russian forces are continuing to build up manpower and are attempting to cross the Oskil River in the Kupiansk sector. This was stated during a live broadcast by National Guard spokesperson Ruslan Muzychuk. The enemy has been trying for a long time to cross the Oskil River. We saw large armored assaults in the area of Pishchain and Kolesnikivka as far back as late last year, and now fighting continues to the northeast of Kupiansk, where the enemy is trying both to cross the Oskil and expand its foothold on the right bank, particularly in the areas of Dvorikna and Fyholivka. Our servicemen are recording periodic assault attempts and efforts to concentrate infantry forces. Additionally, the enemy is carrying out engineering work to prepare for further crossings and assaults, including gathering equipment for river crossings, Muzychuk said. According to him, Ukrainian forces are regularly recording enemy assault attempts and efforts to build up infantry. Naturally, the enemy is also undertaking engineering activities to create the conditions for river crossings and to accumulate forces and equipment for assaults, he added. In general, in the Kupiansk sector, which is under the responsibility of National Guard units, there are 3 to 7 enemy assaults recorded daily. The enemy is actively using artillery and drones. Our troops note that the main threats are from artillery and drone use, as well as enemy engineering units attempting to set up pontoon crossings or carry out other measures to move infantry or, at times, even equipment, said Muzychuk. He also noted that Russian forces on the northern border of Kharkiv region, particularly near Vovchansk, are engaging in low-intensity combat. On average, there are about 4 to 5 attacks per day, most of them in the Vovchansk area, he said. Since the beginning of the month, over 200 Russian infantrymen have been lost in the area, including both wounded and killed. The main force the enemy relies on here continues to be infantry groups, the spokesperson emphasized. Muzychuk also noted that near Vovchansk, the Russians are actively using aviation and guided aerial bombs to strike Ukrainian defense forces positions. In April alone, our troops destroyed around 50 armored vehicles in this area, a relatively modest number. Other destroyed assets included vehicles and missile systems, artillery or MLRS, which the enemy uses to strike or prepare for assaults, he said. Muzychuk further reported that to the west of Vovchansk, Russian troops are attempting assaults aimed at capturing elevated positions to gain fire control and improve artillery effectiveness. A set of photographs have been released from China Coast Guard showing that CCG officers enforced maritime management and exercised sovereign jurisdiction at Taisyanjiao in the South China Sea through on-reef inspection and evidence collection of illegal activities. According to Associated Press, the CCG officers displayed the Chinese national flag to assert sovereignty, and cleaned up plastic bottles, wooden sticks, and other debris scattered on the reef flat. The photos also showed a group of Philippine personnel illegally landing on Taisyanjiao. On the same day, the CCG announced that 6 Philippine personnel illegally boarded Taisyanjiao despite the Chinese side's warnings and dissuasion. Following the move, the CCG officers boarded the reef to conduct on-site verification and enforcement measures in line with the law. China has indisputable sovereignty over the Nansha Islands, including Taisyanjiao, and the adjacent waters.